Catching the opponent's stick after a roof block is something taught in many FMA systems, and while they do a great job at demonstrating the finer points and the mechanics of this tactic, rarely do we see them pressure tested, and even more rare do we see them in actual live full contact stick matches. And in this episode, I'm going to show you multiple examples of both. My name is Paulo Rubio, aka GN. Welcome to another episode of FMA Source. If you love the Filipino martial arts, make sure to smash up that like button and do consider subscribing to the channel. And if you already know you're going to, hit that notification bell so you get notified of when I upload another one of these videos. So sit tight, enjoy the video, take notes if you want to, and let's get right to it. When we see this tactic in full contact matches, they can often look a little different from how they are typically taught in controlled environments. The reason for this is that the surrounding circumstances to successfully execute this tactic is extremely broad. You can catch the stick across all ranges of the fight using the same principles that may deviate from how they are typically shown. So it's important to pressure test and to identify how your personal fighting styles and tendencies can best align to identify or create opportunities to make this happen. One example of this is that the roof block can be thrown as an angle 2 strike. Another example is that the stick catch can be modified to be an overhook to catch your opponent's hand or arm. Now in this example, I bait the cross-check position, anticipating that the pressure will elicit the natural response of throwing that angle 1. I catch the stick near the grip and push forward as my opponent reels back. Had he moved forward, it would have been a totally different fight. Now, while it's not a roof block, the cross-check position is close enough and principally aims at the same objectives that facilitate a stick catch. Here's how else it can look differently. In this example, Lamont Glass enters with an angle 2 and catches Ernie's stick as he attempted an angle 1. At this range, Lamont could have caught Ernie's arms, hands, or stick in the overhook position. This buys just enough time to land a thrust. Another example, Lamont tries it here again, this time with aggressive forward movement. Ernie was able to pivot, get his stick just out of reach, and delivers a counter to the head. In yet another similar attempt, Lamont was able to go deep and catch Ernie's entire arm in an overhook. Both practitioners being experts at their craft, they both identified the position and what it meant and respected the outcome based on their respect for the blade. Here's another example. Now for a bit of context, by this point Ernie was exhausted. He was undergoing PTTA testing in which he must engage in 4 to 5 fights in a row. One more try from Lamont here. This time he lands the angle 2 but misses on the stick catch and gets hit with a solid shot to the body. Again, illustrating that there are so many ways to execute the tactic and so many ways it can fail.
He's going for your stick, Ernie.
So let's head back to the boudoir for a second to observe more of this pressure testing, this isolated drill. Coach Steve puts me in the pocket in relative stillness and he executes randomly while increasing both speed and power over a period of time.
You ready for more speed and power?
Yeah. Doing it in isolation creates just enough predictability to allow us to hyper-focus on this one thing. Infusing elements of speed, distance management, and timing allows us to work on what's most important. Later, we cover follow-ups, and I made a stunning discovery that may seem obvious to some of you.
Towards me with the punya.
Oh, shit.
In terms of tournament, right?
When I try to do this, I think you're just going to circle that way. As I go this way, you're just going to move it.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do the same thing and bait me with this punya, like you're going to hit me.
And that is to follow up with an aggressive and immediate punyo.
Smash my head. Then here. Now think this hip over here like this. Bump him and ride it off.
This isn't the end of the game though, but it does create openings and opportunities for disarms and creating more damage.
Out this way, like I'm almost trying to pull it, But if I go in,
Look, the big here. This is driving, you see?
yeah.
Now you drive. There's your hip, you go back. There's my shot. There's this, right? So you're big here. Now I need a hip.
Oh fuck! Even if I'm fighting here,
Right?
yeah.
So look, hip to hip. That doesn't necessarily mean I can't go here.
Another key discovery for me that may seem obvious is not to attempt disarms without first adhering to some principles commonly adhered to in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling and other grappling arts, and that is to mitigate the opponent's ability to move and create distance by closing the distance and executing attempts at leverage-based disarms tighter and with some forward aggressive action. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. There were so many lessons I learned from this isolated pressure test that I'm confident you, the viewers, can figure out on your own. There's simply way too much to manage in just one video. So if you're interested, I can deconstruct this tactic deeper in follow-up videos. In the meantime, I have several events and training camps to keep trying this out, including the PTI, the Pikiti Tersha International Training Camp, happening in Rochester, New York, August 6th, 7th, and 8th this year, 2021, as well as the PTTA USA Conference, the Pikiti Tersha Tactical Association USA Conference, happening in Utah, August 20, 21, and 22 of the same year. Folks, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for supporting the Filipino martial arts. I will see you next time.
Thanks. The puño is a big follow through, man. Bro, that's big.